So we have Carolynne Schloeder here from Wikimedia today with us, interviewing for Days Info. Carolynne, I was there when you were talking about the Wikimedia Foundation and the consumption of Wikipedia, and we were talking about around 287 languages that Wikipedia was there on. Could you kindly let me know as to what is the major contributor apart from English that you see on Wikimedia in terms of consumption and in terms of the articles submitted to?
We have maybe a dozen language versions that have more than 1 million articles each, and I think they all have major usage as well. So Spanish, French, Russian. Actually, I just heard the other day that Vietnamese crossed the 1 million article threshold, which is it's a big achievement.
Wow, good, great. So, as we understand, the entire data that's basically being collected is collected by a lot of volunteers, and most of what Wikipedia has is either contributed by volunteers or actually given by volunteers themselves. So would you kindly let us know as to what percentage of this particular articles come from what geography right now?
I believe that there's a lot of activity in, like Europe, US, but I think there's a growing level of activity in the developing world. We've got a great community here in India that spans English as well as all of the regional languages. So I think we see editor growth worldwide.
So most of the people are using feature phones. What is that translate to even in terms of Wikipedia's consumption? How much of it is from feature phone and how much is it from smartphones?
We have actually a fair amount of consumption on feature phones still. Well, I think a lot of our growth is coming on smartphones for sure, but we have a lot of people, particularly in the developing world, we see it through in our data that they'll be, for example, on the Opera Mini browser. So I know that we have like 250 million page views a month on Opera Mini, and those are all feature phone users. And that's just, so that's about 5% of our traffic on mobile. Oh. And so, and that's just Opera Mini. So we can estimate that, maybe somewhere around 20%, I would guess, on feature phones. And the real growth is coming on smartphones and tablets.
All right. So you say even though the smartphone consumption or data consumption or smartphones is pretty less, it's still is still significant in your case, wherein the feature phones is 20%. Does this also have to do anything with the penetration of the awareness of Wikipedia within the rural spectrum vis-a-vis the urban spectrum? And would you have any numbers on what's the rural consumption versus the urban consumption throughout the world?
I would have to use the devices as a proxy for geography, for urban versus rural, because we don't track users individually, and we certainly don't track we will geolocate within a country, but not anything more personal than that. So the feature phone usage is, I think it's impressive considering that the user experience on a feature phone is challenging, right? Because it's a small screen and you're scrolling through a long article. And so we're looking for ways to improve that user experience so that we can serve people who are still on feature phones and help them, especially the higher end feature phones that are kind of like low end smartphones. Yeah, help bring them onto the mobile internet as well. I think the challenge there is on the product side, on the user experience. And then, basically I think if people choose to use data, from what I've seen, a lot of people are using their feature phones for voice, and then they'll buy a smartphone because the prices of the smartphones are so low, they're getting close to feature phone. So definitely the trend is more to data on the smartphones. We still want to support the better user experience on the feature phones as well.
All right. One of the very crucial things that we really see is the authenticity of data. And although Wikipedia is now the default place to go on to and fetch information, how authentic, how do you assure of the authenticity of the information? Because it's been extrapolated by so many people worldwide. Even for that matter, few of the media channels right now are misquoting even what's there as per the research reports. So how do you make sure that the data that's been given out in the Wikipedia articles, is authentic enough? And what's the measures that's been used?
There are a few levels to my response. The first is that the our community is amazing. We've got about 80,000 active editors on Wikipedia globally. So they're spread across the different language versions. And the community does an awesome job of reviewing and just doing quality control on new edits that come in, and they protect the quality of the content. They protect it against vandalism and self-promotion and inaccuracies. Right. So I think that the main answer, the most important thing, is that that's an important job that our community plays, an important role that they play. The Wikimedia Foundation actually doesn't touch the content at all. We work in partnership with the community. We provide the technology platform. They control and are completely self-governed around the content. So the second side to it is it's actually pretty easy as a user, as a reader of Wikipedia, to evaluate whether the article looks like it's high quality and accurate. And so part of what I want to do in raising awareness about Wikipedia is also make sure that new readers who are new to the internet know when it's a good article. So for example, we rely heavily on sources, on citations. And so you can tell when there's a statement of fact in an article. If there's no citation, then I would wonder about that, right? But if there's a citation, then you can verify the fact in this source document. We're an encyclopedia, so it's a secondary or tertiary resource, not primary. Right, and then also, I think system-wise, at the top of an article, if it looks like it doesn't have enough citations or it's not a deep enough article, there'll be a banner at the top that says this article needs help, you can help. And it encourages people to come in and help to improve the quality of the content. Right. So I think we have a responsibility to help new readers understand what Wikipedia is. And then that's the one side of it. And then the other side of it is I have a lot of faith in our community who really do an amazing job of building that knowledge resource.
Sure. The reason why I also said that was because in some of the articles, probably the data that's been given is a little predated. It might not be. So for instance, let's say on your mobile web, Wikipedia article, it talks about the stats in 2013, when there are reports that are there in 2014, which can validate, or which can probably have a higher or a lower value to that same number. So how do you basically make sure that you go back to it, re-examine?
So people who have authored the article, may go back and take care of it, but it's hard when you've got 4.7 million articles in English to update them all. So this is something that's really cool because the community is aware of this. The people who, they take pride in their content. And so there's a project called Wikidata where it's a source database of statistics that can then be automatically updated in the article. So it's a reference for Wikipedia articles. So for example, the population of India, you shouldn't have to go back and find every article that references that. It should be done systematically. So we've got a pretty tech savvy community, and they solve problems. I think that they're pretty innovative in how they solve problems.
Sure, that's interesting. I think that brings us to the last question here, and this is probably a little more India-centric. You have, launched Wikipedia Zero, right, with one particular operator, and very frankly, probably that's a very small number of who are using data or using mobile internet. So how do you plan to take it forward? Because then, I don't know whether you have an exclusivity that you're going to be, coming out of.
So we, as a rule, do not do any exclusive deals. That would be counter to our mission, which is to spread this knowledge to everyone on the planet. And so we're completely open, completely transparent, and we don't play favorites with anybody. Aircell's been awesome. They came in early and they've been a great partner working with us, and they're very close to my heart. I'm actually in India meeting with other mobile operators, meeting with handset manufacturers, looking for other mission-aligned organizations that can help us spread the good word. So I hope to see some real growth in India in the next year or two, and I would expect that we would expand our partner base. And, we have an opportunity. Mobile operators compete with each other, right? They have their own marketing strategy, their own CSR strategy, and we can support them in their own unique offering. So, rather than it just being sort of a Me Too commoditized, we work with Wikipedia, I think that we can put a unique spin with everyone that we work with.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot, Carolynne. That was very informative.